Now it's 5:45, and we're following developing news this morning out of San Diego. A man there claims his Toyota Prius accelerated out of control last night and that the California Highway Patrol had to come to his rescue. And Toyota is planning to send a field specialist to San Diego today to investigate.
This happened the same day that Toyota tried to reassure customers the electronics in its cars are safe. Eyewitness News reporter Whit Johnson has the latest.
Toyota's reputation may have suffered another dent.
I won't drive that car again, period.
James Sykes was driving his Toyota Prius down a busy San Diego highway Monday when all of a sudden,
I pushed the gas pedal to pass a car, and it did something kind of funny. It just did something kind of weird. It just jumped, and then it just stuck there.
The car reportedly zoomed to 94 miles per hour. Sykes says he stood on the brakes, pressing them so hard he could smell them. After calling 911, a highway patrol officer came to his rescue.
I could tell he was physically trying to brake and the vehicle was barely slowing down.
Officer Todd Niebert eventually helped Sykes roll the vehicle to a stop, using his own police cruiser as an additional brake. The latest incident couldn't have come at a worse time for Toyota. On the same day Sykes was trying to stop his Prius, Toyota was trying to put an end to claims that faulty electronics may cause unintended...
Good day, everyone. Welcome to Global Government News. Today is August 25th, 2010, and I'm Darko. Welcome, everyone. This is actually going to be another Big Brother video because Big Brother continues to grow on a daily basis. It says scientists hack into cars, computers control brakes and engine. And I just checked out another video on YouTube where an individual drove his Toyota Prius and approach this whole situation with common sense instead of calling the state to come in there and do the thinking for this individual. He could have just tried to turn the car off himself. He put it in neutral, turn the power button off, but no, he freaked out and said he's never going to try the car again. The first thing that I thought that no one was talking about was this, because this technology was available. I posted a video that was promoting this technology that allows cops, police officers, to tap in. And they said that the car got in front of them and helped them slow down. But there's technology that's available through a security system that's built into cars now, where basically police cruisers can pull over a car, but it's done remotely, and this is done by satellites and everything else. This is the scary part. It's not the actual cop car. It's just the cop car knows which car it is because it's controlled remotely. The car is controlled remotely, the brakes and the acceleration and the actual all the electronics. There's a little brain box in there, near the firewall. But anyways, just so we can move on here, that was what I was getting to the other day when I was saying this was my little theory. Is that you know, this, you got to think of the countries as not as countries but as corporations, and once you do that, it becomes very simple to see the world the way it is. And when one corporation, i.e. one country, pisses off the other, and pardon my French, but when they do that, they play little games, little FF games like this. And yes, controlling cars remotely and putting other citizens, other workers, other corporations' workers, and you know, in danger, is kind of like, you know, a big threat saying don't do this. So the technology exists, and just like you know, when countries, corporations get earthquakes, they get buzzed. The first thing that a lot of us think of is HARP, because it's a political weapon, and this is a political weapon as well. But it says it sounds like a Hollywood movie. Cybercriminals in a van use a laptop to hack wireless onto computer-controlled systems of the car on the road ahead. In seconds, the target engines, the brakes, the door locks are under the nefarious control. It doesn't take a great scriptwriter to figure out what's next, except that it's not in the movies anymore. It's real. Well, almost. Hackers aren't taking over our cars just yet, but without tighter computer security, they'd be able to before too long. I don't like how that was worded. It says research conducted by scientists at 4 universities indicate. It says, for example, scientists hacked into a car's computer system by commanding the wireless tire pressure monitoring system signal of the target vehicle, all while driving at more than 60 miles per hour, according to a joint study. And so, of course, they say this is going to be done by hackers. Hackers are the big threat, not the government and not the corporations. So, you know, yeah, a little bit of truth, but a lot of propaganda. And you can ask, well, why would this technology, why would the powers that be in all these different countries, corporations, want this technology? Well, like everything else with technology, such as, you know, this Big Brother issue, is that they want to be able to track and trace you everywhere you go. And I think we all know that and understand why. Because you are little assets, your little sub-corporations, even your name, all in caps, is a corporate name. And so they have to be able to track you from life to death. And this is just one part of it. So if you're driving and you're on vacation, you're halfway across the country, for whatever reason, Homeland Security deems you a terrorist or a security threat because, you know, you protested at the Federal Reserve the day before and you rubbed some people the wrong way. Well, they want to find you. They'll find you. You know, not just because of all the GPSs that you have, such as your cell phone and built into the car, like OnStar and that, but a system like this where they can remotely shut your car off is a lot of power that the state has over you. So Steve Jobs is watching you. Apple seeking to patent spyware. Looks like Apple Incorporated is exploring a new business opportunity, spyware and what we're calling traderware. While users were celebrating the new jailbreaking and unlocking exemptions, Apple was quite quietly preparing to apply for a patent on technology that, among other things, would allow Apple to identify and punish users who take advantage of those exemptions or otherwise tinker with their devices. This patent application does nothing short of providing a roadmap for how Apple can presumably spy on its customers and control the way its customers use Apple products. As Sony BMG learned, spying on your customers is bad for business. And the kind of spying enabled here is especially creepy. It's not just spyware, it's traderware, since it's designed to allow Apple to retaliate against you if you do something Apple does not like. And of course, simple solution, don't use their little gadgets, right? Apple, Microsoft, Pepsi, Coke, well, maybe not Pepsi, Coke, but Lockheed Martin, Bank of America, all these corporations, I believe, are just pretty much extensions of the government, which is a big corporation. I know I keep saying that word, but I just want to ram it home here to give you the full picture of, or at least how I see it. It says students prepare for Homeland Security careers. The Center for Adult and Continuing Education at Misericordia University is introducing a new Bachelor's of Arts degree program this fall. The Government Law and National Security program will be available for the fall semester this year for adult learners with an associate's degree in the area of criminal justice, business, and human services. This will prepare them to enter the expanding national and homeland security workforce within the government and private sector. And that's all we need is more unmarked cars with tinted windows driving around, making the slaves feel even more like slaves, right? Over the past decade, there's been an increased interest in national security studies at both the undergraduate and graduate levels, says Brian Corso, assistant professor and program director at Misericordia. Well, that's because there's hardly any jobs left, and most of the jobs are either government or in security or defense. It says the program is designed to appeal to students from a variety of academic backgrounds and to provide them with a specialization that is once directed and focused but broad enough to give them flexibility in this growing career field. Next article up is from networkworld.com. It's titled ACLU Report, Spying on Free Speech Nearly at Cold War Level. Political spying is nearly as bad now as it was during the Cold War. The ACLU reports that Americans are harassed and under surveillance for exercising their First Amendment rights. The ACLU reports or released numerous reports of increased government spying on American citizens. Once upon an unhappy time, U.S. law enforcement agencies, from the FBI to local police, had a history of political spying during the Cold War. The ACLU said that the old political spying tendencies are running high again. Individuals and groups are being monitored and harassed for little more than peacefully exercising their First Amendment rights. And one little note that I would like to include is that when I used to be into demonstrations and activism and politics, when I actually believed that you can vote your way towards freedom, I attended one of these tea parties about 2 years ago, and the only reason, my whole sole purpose for going there was to observe those that were observing, right? I was observing the federals, the federales, the federal agents, the undercover agents that were there, and they were there. Could I prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt? No, but there was two possibles that were basically, when I started to follow one of them, he started to follow me, and then he started to walk around in a circle basically with nobody around him, with a little nice brand new little baseball cap, and just looked very out of place. And then the other individual, of course, was your 6'4" white male, bald, basically well built, and looks like an ex-military. And I followed him all the way back to his car, and he had federal plates. I believe it was either Army or Army National Guard type plates. So they're definitely out there, and they're looking at regular Americans, because right now middle-class Americans and people who are losing their jobs are the #1 threat to the establishment as we convert into this new style system. It's just an upgrade, and a lot of people are going to be squirming. They're not going to like it, so we got to keep an eye on them. Next article is from Forbes. Is titled "Full Body Scan Technology Deployed in Street Roving Vans." As if it couldn't get any worse. It says, as the privacy controversy around full-body security scans begin to simmer, it's worth noting that courthouses and airport security checkpoints aren't the only places where backscatter X-ray vision is being deployed. The same technology capable of seeing through clothes and walls has also been rolled out on U.S. streets, and I can guarantee you that the 13 high-altitude airships that were purchased by the Pentagon will be used by Homeland Security, and they do have this technology to see through walls. So, but just so you know, it's just being used for Afghanistan, wink, wink. American Science and Engineering, a company based in Blicker, Massachusetts, has sold U.S. and foreign government agencies more than 500 backscatter X-ray scanners mounted in vans that could be driven past neighboring vehicles to see their contents. Joe Rice, a vice president of marketing at the company, told me in an interview. It says, while the biggest buyer of the machines over the last 7 years has been the Department of Defense, in Afghanistan, wink, wink, in Iraq, wink, wink, Rice says law enforcement agencies have also deployed the vans to search for vehicle-based bombs in the U.S. The product is now the largest selling cargo and vehicle inspection system ever, said Rice. And I guess this is, you come check out the link and you can check out this video. But definitely not surprised by this. So you definitely wouldn't be surprised when you see mainstream global establishment media coming out and telling you the government can use GPS to track your moves. Well, thanks for telling me that, but I already pretty much knew. Government agents can sneak on your property in the middle of the night, put a GPS device on the bottom of your car, and keep track of your everywhere you go. Well, or you could just voluntarily carry a cell phone, a BlackBerry, the little carbon meter box, or you can have a North Star system, or you can just have a brand new car. Basically, you're going to have a GPS device on you no matter what. But most of the people don't know that. This doesn't violate your Fourth Amendment rights because you do not have any reasonable expectation of privacy in your own driveway and no reasonable expectation that the government isn't tracking your movements. This is bizarre and scary. Rules that now applies in California and 8 other western states. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the 9th District, which covers a vast jurisdiction, recently decided the government can monitor you in this way virtually anytime it wants with no need for a search warrant. And of course they, like I said yesterday with Big Brother video, they'll bring out George Orwell and all that other stuff, and we're creeping towards it as if we're not already there, right? So, but of course if you read all the way to the bottom, they'll tell you that it's needed and it must be done for security to protect you from the terrorists. This is Daily News talking about Big Brother and Facebook. Facebook Places, a new app that they just came out with. Basically, your friends can tell you where you're at and post it. This is ABC News. Software predicts criminal behavior. Program helps law enforcement determine who is likely to commit a crime. So see, that's the future. By the time you're born, if you have alcoholic parents, you come from a broken family, or you have the genes to be an alcoholic, well, yeah, they'll just go ahead and arrest you for it before you do it. Computers that read minds are being developed by Intel. New technology could allow people to dictate letters and search the internet simply by thinking, according to the researchers at Intel who are behind the project. Google to expand their little Google Earth Dublin workforce with new ops wing. And of course it'll be for civilian use, right? No, for Department of Defense. Now they can see aerial pictures of wherever you're going. Now, though, we'll see on the ground first-person views of what's going on.